Priscilla, how can I help you today?
Okay, so mm, my question is with tantrums, meltdowns. My son, he's 3. He has sensory issues. He's not diagnosed with autism, but we are in the process of having him evaluated. But my main concern is his meltdowns, his tantrums. He hits, he throws himself at people, like he pushes, and it's tough. It's tough. Trying the whole gentle parenting, trying to redirect him. Um, Anytime you slightly change your tone of voice just to be stern with him, he shuts down. So it's tough.
Okay. So you said that he's 3 years old. He has sensory issues.
Yes.
I want to reframe it. He has sensory needs,
Uh-huh.
and he hits and he throws tantrums. I want
Yes.
to dig a little bit deeper there because I want to know if they're really tantrums or if they're meltdowns. But we can talk about that in a little bit. And then when you change your tone of voice to sound a little more stern, that's when he really escalates.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you want to get out of this time with me realistically? just to give you a little disclaimer, coaching is a process of months with our clients. So we just have we have a very short time here. My intention is that you live with clarity, but
Yeah.
possibly you're not going to live with like, oh, okay, she transformed my life because it is a process. So realistically, what do you want to get out of this session with me, this little time?
Just a few pointers, honestly. Any helpful tips that you have, I'm willing to take.
Okay, helpful tips. Okay, so I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions, and those questions are not to judge you, it's because I want to gain full understanding of the dynamic, full understanding of your mindset, and full understanding of how you are viewing those behaviors and the expectations that you have about your son. Okay, and
Right.
from there, I'm going to help you. So, when you say I just want helpful tips, I'm sure if you follow me, you've seen a lot of many helpful tips from my free content. So, my
Right.
question is, what have you tried and what do you think? Why do you think it's not working?
Um, well, I mean, I know I tried redirecting him. I guess, honestly, maybe it's just me. I'm losing the control, getting frustrated easily.
Okay. Tell me more. When do
uh,
you get, when do you, like you say you're getting frustrated easily? Tell me more about
I,
that.
I get frustrated with having to constantly repeat myself with him. It's a constant battle. I mean, I know he's 3. You're gonna repeat yourself, but it's like with him, it's excessive. You gotta constantly repeat yourself. And if, like, for example, if I tell him to go pick up his shoe, he'll start walking towards the shoe, but see something else and then go over there. I'm like, no, 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 go back and get your shoe. And so you gotta constantly remind him and just remind him and constantly repeat yourself. And it can just get frustrating. It can get frustrating after a while.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. You know what? There is something that caught my attention when I asked you, okay, so what are those helpful tips that you've tried? And why do you think it's not working? You say, I don't think it's the tips themselves, it's that I am not regulated. I am frustrated. So
Yeah.
I imagine that your intention for this session has just shifted from helpful tips to what? What do you want to get out? To understand where your frustration comes a little bit more, or what do you want to get out of this session?
Yeah, actually, yeah. To understand why I'm getting so frustrated with
Okay.
constant repeating. Yeah.
Why you're getting so frustrated. Okay. So he's not diagnosed with anything. He just has, you said, sensory needs. What makes you
Yes.
think that he has sensory needs?
Well, so he's been having behavioral issues, or so to speak, behavioral issues in school or in daycare since he was 1. I had him evaluated based off of their suggestion through early intervention. he was evaluated twice. They both times they stated that they felt that he had some sensory needs, but they just pushed me off, or not pushed me, but they just directed me to occupational therapy. I took him to occupational therapy, and the therapist had asked me if he was autistic because the majority of her patients were autistic, and a lot of the traits that he was showing at the evaluation resembled autistic patients that she normally works with. So,
Do
yeah.
you suspect he's autistic?
um, it, I feel like I don't mean to cry, but I have concerns. I have concerns.
Okay, so you do suspect that he's autistic.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so fresh. Is
I'm
that
sorry.
him? When it comes to neurodivergent kids and autistic kids, they function a lot different. So, yes, it is not as simple as us telling them, hey, go pick up this, and they will go pick it up, because there are some things that is called distractions, and their brains get distracted easily when after we give them the instruction. So, yes, just a verbal command might not be enough to help this mom to gain her child's cooperation or listening. Okay, so let's keep unraveling this. I don't know if you heard that just a verbal command for a neurodivergent child is not enough, because they have needs when it comes to their focus. It is not that they cannot focus, it's that they have a hard time regulating their focus. What's regulating your focus? To say, hey, I'm gonna go to the laundry room and I'm gonna get, I don't know, the broom. You regulate your focus when you're able to keep that thought in mind, go to the laundry room, get the broom, and then you're done with that task. That's regulating your focus. I am a neurodivergent person. I have autism and ADHD. And many times I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to the laundry room to get the broom. And then on the way to the laundry room, I see something on the floor and I pick it up and I put it in its place. And then I forget about finishing the task of going to the laundry room to get the broom. Not because I don't want to listen to myself. I'm the most, I want to get the broom, but I have a hard time regulating my focus.
Right.
So before we move into your intention of why am I getting so frustrated, I want to give you a practical strategy with your 3-year-old son. If he has a hard time regulating his focus, it's not because he wants to give you a hard time, hello, or it is not because he is willingly not listening to you. It's because he is having the need of keeping that thought in mind. I think I lost Priscilla. So my recommendation for all of you, if you're listening to this while Priscilla comes back, is to physically guide your child towards the thing that you want them to do. So if it is, hey, go put your shoes on, you physically take them by their hand and go to the shoe rack and have them put their shoes on. My autistic son, he's 8 years old and he still needs help regulating his focus. So, in that regard, I do this simple strategy. When it's time for him to take a shower, I know I would not be successful by just telling him, "Hey, Santi, go take a shower." I go tap him on the shoulder, engage with him a little bit, and I guide him by the hand to the shower to prevent those issues of him getting distracted on his way to the shower. So that's a helpful tip. Now, it is important for us to know that uh, a sensory child, neurodivergent child, a sensitive child, when we raise our voice to them, rather than helping them, it hurts them because they are not able to regulate their focus at all, because they go to their survival brain of like, oh, I'm being yelled at, like it feels a lot to me, I have sensory needs, and I'm sure the noise is bothering some to them. So if yelling for a neurotypical kid may feel a lot, for a neurodivergent kid it feels a lot stronger, a lot more. So if you say, hey, when I change the tone of voice, and if I'm a little more stern, then he goes to reactivity and hitting me, it makes sense why he does it. It makes sense to me why he does it. Because as a sensitive child, it's really hard for this child to regulate his focus while trying to cope with extra sensory anxiety. The answer to, hey, how do I stop repeating myself? And how do I stop getting frustrated? The best thing is to understand how your particular sensitive and neurodivergent child functions so you can help them. If you need help understanding your particular dynamic, the relationship with your children,